Oh my god. Guys, did you hear the news? The terrible news? The awful news that's come out? Have you heard? Sony is literally, actually crying over the news that discs are better than downloads. Welcome back, everybody, to Discs Over Downloads. I'm Comrade, and I think I'm kind of funny. I'm Comrade the Froggy King, and I think I'm kind of funny. I actually just launched a new YouTube channel. It's not a new YouTube channel. I've redone my YouTube channel, I should say, because it's from years and years ago. But I've started putting shorts up from my Twitch channel. Just a little shameless plug for myself. But good morning and welcome back. I am Comrade the Froggy King. This is Astral. Astral, say something with your voice.
Something with my voice.
This is Shadgun. Shadgun, say something with your voice.
Something with my voice.
You're both doing great. I couldn't be happier to be sharing these microphones with you boys. This week we have a number of things to talk about. I've got two that I want to cover. We've got a much longer, in-depth preview of Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave coming from Skill Up on YouTube. And the Saber Interactive CEO got into a little bit of drama in the last couple of days that I think I'll cover as well. What have you guys got for us today?
Well, I want to talk about video game remakes and some of the do's and don'ts for that. We've had or will have 4 major game remakes by the end of the year. Those being the Black Flag remake we already got, the Halo Campaign Evolved, which we already got. I'm drawing a blank on the other 2, but there's another one that's coming by the end. Yeah, we had the Star Fox, and we have the Zelda Ocarina of Time remake coming out.
That's true.
Let's start with Saber Interactive, because I'm curious about this. What happened there?
Yes, let's get the drama out of the way first. So Saber Interactive CEO Matt Karch went online because he went on to Twitter. So there's a former lead writer on Rideshare Simulator, a game that Saber Interactive is developing. Stella Sacco, S-A-C-C-O, I'm probably spelling that wrong. So she claims, and this is a very serious claim if true, I'll give a little bit of context. Saber Interactive has been very open with the fact that they use AI in the development of their games. They use AI in the development of their games, and it is to help their developers to make games. They've gone, I don't want to say they've gone on record saying it, but they very strongly imply that they have never laid a person off and replaced them with AI. I don't think they've ever actually said we do not replace employees with AI. Like, I don't think they've ever said that string of words. But they do have 3,000 employees, and they are one of the publishers that hires and hires more than they fire. They do seem to be keeping most of their staff. So I'm inclined to believe they're not trying to replace people with AI. However, Stella Sacco claims that she was replaced with ChatGPT on Rideshare Simulator. Apparently they came in and told her that she wasn't going to be the lead writer anymore, and they got ChatGPT to do her job. Now, Matt Karch did not appreciate this and went online, and I've got his statement in full here. He said, first off, Stella who? I had to ask Claude because I have never spoken to her or seen her. We've already said we are using AI for certain parts of the game, and we'll update the Steam page once we have finalized the feature set. Let me clarify that the entire story script, were it to win an award, would go to someone who can walk up on stage and receive it. It was always our intention to reveal this until Stella violated her confidentiality clause and revealed this before we were ready. We look at our use of AI in this particular game, which will be a lower price title, as a plus for consumers. As far as Stella is concerned, she was replaced by someone more talented and terminated for a variety of reasons a few months later. From what I can gather, she enjoys controversy even more than I do. I would frankly, in retrospect, have been happy to replace her with AI. At least we would be dealing with someone programmed to be honest.
Ouch.
Which is a wild statement from a CEO. That's a wild statement from a CEO. I think he had it about right until he got to the controversy line at the end there, where that sort of just became a I'm just shooting back at you now. So basically the accusation, the way this goes back and forth, if you break it down to the simplest facts, Stella went online and said I was fired for ChatGPT. Like I was let go, and they're using ChatGPT to write the game now, and I was replaced by AI. The CEO has come back and said, "Nuh-uh, that's no." And he said, "Yeah, we're using AI in this particular game, but it's interesting the way he puts it. He basically said, no, we're not." But he says, "Let me clarify that the entire story script, were it to win an award, would go to someone who can walk up on stage and receive it." Nowhere in there does he say that they are not using AI to write that.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's a very weird way to put that. Like in that whole long thing, he never said we're not doing that.
I would say
it sounds like that's what he's trying to imply, though.
Right.
But it sounds like that he has left it vague enough. Mind you, in a clarifying statement, you shouldn't leave things vague. But like he's left it vague enough that this person that they either replaced her with is AI or is using AI in some regards.
Right. And she fired back after that with it kind of a paragraph of her own. I won't read the whole thing, but basically she said that it's remarkably pathetic for the CEO of any company to be making, and combined with the AI use, it will do far more damage to Saber's reputation than it ever could mine. So they're both calling each other liars. Basically, He's saying that's not why we fired her. She was terminated for numerous reasons. And she's saying, no, that's why they fired me. They fired me so they could use AI. Like, they wanted to replace me as a writer. The original statement, I mean, Saber has denied it. Like, but they're also claiming that she violated a confidentiality agreement. And the other part is she was replaced by someone more talented and terminated for a variety of reasons a few months later. So maybe they just decided to go a different direction. There's another person, but if you've got a new lead writer, tell us who they are, right?
Yeah.
Like, give us that information and say you weren't replaced by ChatGPT. You were replaced by this lovely person who is now doing the writing, and you were terminated for a bunch of reasons a few months later. Like, we brought this person on at this time, but they leave a lot of it. He leaves a lot of it like up to sort of your interpretation, which is what makes me a little nervous about it. You know, he says someone will walk up on stage and claim an award if they win an award for the writing. But there's nowhere in there that it doesn't say they're using ChatGPT to write it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just that someone would go claim the award, and obviously your AI can't go claim the award. So I don't know. It's weird.
I was gonna say that sounds like whoever is currently the one using it to write is the one going to claim the reward for it.
Yeah, that is a bit sketchy.
It's a little sketchy.
Because anyone can go, like, how hard would it be to cover up, like, so they win a reward for the writing of the game, and the CEO just goes, I'm going to accept it on behalf of my company. Then he doesn't have to actually name anyone who did it.
Right. It's definitely weird. I'm hoping he comes out with a more clear, less angry statement in the future. We'll definitely keep our eyes on Matt Karsh and his Twitter posts. We'll probably get back to that next week.
Let's talk about remakes.
I'm also going to talk about Fire Emblem during the remakes.
Are there any? Yes. Yeah. Hold on. Yep. I know the answer to that already.
There's a couple, and one of them I want remade again. Yes.
Like, I already know the answer to that. I played one of them, so yeah.
So. Yeah. No, you go ahead. You've been playing a Nintendo remake lately. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I've been playing Star Fox a lot.
Star Fox.
I've probably done, like 12.5 playthroughs of it so far, because it's not very long. Been trying to get all the medals. And Star Fox is a perfect example of a game that I think got remade correctly. So, they changed basically nothing about the story. No, none of the major plot points. It's still the same. Fox's dad is betrayed by Pigma and dies on Venom, and Fox takes over the team and recruits a couple other people.
Spoilers! Oh my god!
I'm not going to be upset about spoiling a game from 1997.
and a game that tells you all of this in the opening cinematic.
It also feels, for the most part, a little bit easier than the original game, and
Oh my god, the bosses are so much easier. They go down in like 4 hits.
So, well, they
I
do
can't
on
believe it.
the main thing that it stuck out to me was this game is in 60 FPS, unlike the N64 version, so aiming is a lot smoother.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to line up your shots. Also, some of the maneuvers are easier. Like doing a somersault used to be like one of the C buttons and a thumbstick movement, that kind of thing. Now it's just a single D-pad button does that. A different D button does the U-turn. So it feels like the controls are more user-friendly as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yes. And I think that's a perfect example of a game that was remade well. It adds to things in a way that doesn't necessarily change what happened in the original game, but makes it more interesting. And graphically, it's fantastic. Looks way better than the N64 game, but that's...
Oh my god, it looks so much better.
Yes, but that's sort of the expectation. We're talking like a 30-year difference between the games. It better look better.
Right.
Hopefully, that's the idea, right? Yeah. Is that most of the remakes, one of the things we can almost definitely want every single time is a graphics update. Not necessarily a change, but definitely like modern like vision, modern assets.
Polygons.
Yes, I would like more polygons in my polygons.
Yes.
Yeah, for real. See, I want one of the more simple remakes. I would actually love. So they remade Fire Emblem 2 on the Nintendo 3DS, and I love that game. I love the dungeon crawling. I think it was really, really neat. And I want them to remake it. It's so Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia is a remake of Fire Emblem Gaiden, which is Fire Emblem 2 in Japan. And it went from NES to 3DS. And now I want it to go from 3DS to Switch 2, please. I would like the Switch 2 version. I want it to be shiny and new and fresh, because Celica is perfect and Alm is perfect and that cast is perfect. And I just want to play more. I just will play it more. But I'll settle for Fortune's Weave. It looks really good.
So I mentioned wanting to talk about the do's and don'ts of remakes, and I gave an example of a good one. I also want to give an example of a bad one, which also came out this year, and you probably know what's coming. We're going to talk about why the Halo Campaign Evolved remake was not good.
Oh yeah, you're the expert on that one.
So the first thing I want to bring up is we're going to set aside that graphically it's better than the other remakes and remasters we've had, because again,
can I address that?
Sure.
I don't think it's.
I think that it looks more real, but it does not look like Halo. It looks like Call of Duty.
Okay.
I also have a point on that. They tried to make it look more realistic, and like it lost the actual like feel that Halo gave as a like sci-fi shooter game.
Yep.
Like the ring itself is probably the most like egregious example that I've seen. But like I just like I want to be, immersed in a world and not taken back and using quote unquote modern guns. If I wanted that, I'd play Call of Duty or some shit.
Right.
And I want to talk about, I want everyone to pitch in for this one. If you could have one game, let's do 2 of these actually, because I have opinions. If you could have one game remade, any game you wanted, what would it be, and what would you change, if any? And is there a game that people want to see remade that you absolutely hope is never ever remade until you are cold and dead? And I'm gonna start. So,
okay, go ahead.
Because I have some obvious ones. I want a Chrono Trigger remake.
Overruled. I want a Halo 5 remake. I want them to remake Halo 5 with Chungus dialogue. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
You're fired. No, I want a Chrono Trigger remake And while the one on the DS was pretty cool, they added a couple extra things. I want one like in the modern era, if money is no object, give Chrono Trigger the Final Fantasy VII treatment, where they take like a 20-hour game and make it like a 100-hour masterpiece. And
I
just
hope they never remake that game.
You can explain that why that is a.
You can explain why you're fucking wrong. No.
Except they can't have voice acting in it because no. Oh.
You let me know when you want to hear the explanation, and I'll give it to you.
They'd still have to do no voice acting because Chrono still can't talk. I don't know if I would want real-time combat in it or not. You know what? No, I wouldn't. They can keep the ATB system. It works for that game. And yeah, why would you disagree with that one? Why don't you want that one redone?
You Chrono fans are insufferable enough, and I'm second. No, it's I don't think they could do it better. I think that game. I'm gonna say something that's gonna get me crucified on the internet. And my Twitter is at the end of the video, by the way. If you'd like to come and nail either of my hands to the wood.
Directions are good interaction.
So I think that game wouldn't have worked anywhere or any time else. And maybe that doesn't sound right, but I think that game releasing when it did on the system it did is what made it so good. I think it was good for its time and for what it was. And I think that without the nostalgia people have for it, I think if that exact game didn't release back on the Super Nintendo and some indie studio made it today, it would get overlooked and no one would pay any attention to it or think it was that great. It would have 1,000 Steam reviews and it would never get a physical release. And that doesn't make it bad by any means. Like it's certainly not a bad game. It's a great game. But I really think that it got lucky because the environment it launched in on the SNES, there were other good RPGs on the SNES, absolutely. But I think the environment it launched in, the uniqueness of its own profile, like the appeal of having Akira Toriyama as the artist, like I think it just nailed the correct list of things for that era to be this amazing game. And I think no matter what they do for a remake, it won't hold up. I just don't, especially now that Toriyama-san is dead.
It won't be as culturally relevant. Which I guess makes sense. I mean, one of the things they did really well is the idea that Y2K was actually an apocalypse in-game.
Yep.
And that was a concern that would have been there at the time, considering the game came out in, 95? Something like that?
Yeah, somewhere in that era.
So, like, the idea...
If I was going to remake it, I'll tell you how I would do it. I would get the team that did Star Ocean, the second story R, and I would redo it that way.
Oh, man. Don't cite the deep lore to me, witch.
Yeah, I will cite whatever I want to you, Mr. Man. I'll come over there.
Star Ocean is a trip. Oh.
I would love to see them, even if they made it the exact same way and just gave it a facelift, like how Dragon Quest has been getting the 2D HD art style.
Yeah,
I think something like that would kind of look neat.
2D as like other people are. It's cool. I see it for what it is.
I think
I think the way they did Star Ocean, the second story R, is really like that should be HD 2D. Like they really did a much better job.
I think it's a good way to bring pixel games to the newer generation without just upscaling pixels and making them look not like the. You see like when you play a game on an emulator on a screen way bigger than it's meant to be, and it doesn't look as smooth. You know, they built those for a certain kind of display that we simply don't use anymore. So updating them for the kind of display we do use and changing basically nothing else, and I think it would sell fine. I don't think it would blow up the way it did in 1995, but I think it would. No. I think it would do well enough, and I think it would be a good way for them to gauge whether or not they should finally make a fucking sequel.
I have my game that we want to remake. Or I want to remake.
All right.
So it's with a caveat. It's Kingdom Hearts.
You go to hell. You go to hell.
Actually, as a matter of fact, that was going to be the game I said I don't want remade. So I guess we're going to do this, right?
Yeah,
All
we're
right,
gonna do this right now.
I've enjoyed my last episode of Disc Silver Download. How about you guys?
The caveat. All right. Personally, I like being able to, I like combining things together. All right. I would like that if I could play Kingdom Hearts and like Kingdom Hearts 2 and like have that as like one game.
So
okay, so why wouldn't you want it? So by the way, when I say remake, I'm not talking a like redoing of everything. I'm just talking more about like a graphics update, just sort of little things like that, more so than like a gameplay update.
Do we not have that?
Kind of, but not really. So we had the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 on.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the final mixes and all that stuff.
Yeah. It didn't really get a graphics update, so to speak. It did get the remaster treatment where the textures were updated to 1080p instead of the 480 they were at, and it got a 60 FPS frame rate instead of the 30 it had on PlayStation. But like a full, like from the ground up, like Star Fox style remake, no, we haven't gotten that.
Let me get this straight. Let me make sure that I understand this correctly. You want a remake that isn't a remake. You just want it to update, so not the gameplay, because you said no gameplay.
Yeah, yes and no. Like I there are some things in the game that I think could be improved upon, but I also wouldn't. I also am in the same camp of like wouldn't trust anybody to do it correctly. Like I feel like we would get a campaign evolved situation if it happened today.
So the reason I don't want that one remade, for a couple of reasons. One, graphically, anyways, it's still the remixes still hold up very well. Like you could, it's not like an older game that was just graphically a product. It's not like the difference between like Star Fox 64 and now. The game did not. Those games did not need a tremendous graphical leap at all. So it looks fine the way it is, as long as it's using modern frame rates. There isn't really anything they could change with the story, given how tied up the plot is of that whole series. Beyond what they added in Final Mix, like there's nothing else they could add that wouldn't create plot holes later. And accessibility, the other reason you would make a remake, is a non-issue because they keep re-releasing it on every modern console, and it's on Steam. We're getting Switch 2 versions, which are not cloud versions, and as far as I've heard, are actually on the key. It is not a game key card, it's actually on the disc.
They're on the card.
Yeah, so like we're getting true physical copies of it for modern consoles, and it's on Steam where it's also completely moddable and all that. I don't see, other than if you really wanted a graphical update specifically, any reason to update that to the modern era. On top of, I don't really want modern writers to try to rewrite that game. Let's not.
Well, yeah, that's what I would be afraid of, honestly. Like I think it would be a cool thing for it to be modernized without it getting modernized.
I'm going to tell you exactly why this can never happen.
Yeah.
And you might not like it, but you're both going to feel, I think, obligated to agree with me on this. You can't remake Kingdom Hearts because the cringe is part of the soul of the game.
Oh no, you're right.
Yeah. Crazy. But yeah, I would love to see a Sacred Stones remake. That is like one of the most underrated Fire Emblem games. That's where I'm at with it. I really, really wish they would. I loved that they made Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia, because it sounded like they were going to make a bunch of Fire Emblem Echoes games where they remade old games, and then they just didn't. They redid one and just said, okay, we're done. And I'm like, why? Why not remake more, please? You know? They just won't do it. So I'm like, okay, I'll just be sad. I'll just be a sad boy forever. And that's it.
That's what you get.
Yeah,
I have no opinion on a remake of that game, but as far as I know, every time they've remade a Fire Emblem game, it has done well. So they have a good track record.
Yeah. I wanted to mention Fortune's Weave really quickly. Fortune's Weave seems to be going back to the route of so the new Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, seems to be going back to the route of Fire Emblem Three Houses. Which if you're a Fire Emblem fan, you know that Engage was very, very basic, very milquetoast Fire Emblem game. There wasn't a lot to it. It felt very dated. And the emblems didn't add a lot. It was more like a victory lap of look how cool our series is. And they're not wrong, but like that's not what we want. Also, that's why you make Warriors games. Make another Fire Emblem Warriors game. Make a Warriors game if you want to make a Warriors game. That said, Fortune's Weave did something really smart with these stories. So a big problem with Fire Emblem Three Houses is that there are 4 routes to take, and you have to marry one of them. You have to, if you're going to go in and you're going to do the Black Eagles, you have to marry yourself to that route for 40 hours. Yeah. You know what I mean? You have to do the whole story. Then you have to go back and you have to redo the entire game as Golden Deer and Blue Lions and then the church. And it's like a whole process. So in this one, in Fortune's Weave, they've done this kind of a Chrono Triggery thing, right? Where I'm gonna pick this character and I'm gonna be this character because I like this character. And you start following her story, and then you get to a point where she's gonna meet one of the other protagonists, and the game tells you this. There's like a schedule where like you both have a match in the arena in the center of the world map, right? And so you go, oh, so she's gonna run into that character. There's a place you can go, like a realm that has these obelisks, and each of these obelisks are the other character's stories. So you can go to that other character she's about to meet, and you can play his story up to when they meet, and then have them meet. You can do all 4 stories in one playthrough.
That's awesome.
So you don't have to keep backing out and now that I beat the game, I guess I'll go replay, because you replay it and you got to rewatch all the cinematics just from like a slightly different perspective in Three Houses. You know what I mean? And you got to try and punch through all these levels you've already done to get to the cinematic you haven't seen and watch the cinematic. Now it's all one coherent story. You just play from 4 different perspectives. If you want. That's the other part. You don't have to do that. You could just play through as one character and just say, fuck it, I don't care about that other guy. You know what I mean? You can just do what you want. I think that's a really good design change. I think that's really smart. So thank you for tuning in to Discs Over Downloads once again. That's going to be it for the show today. We got to talk about a lot of stuff. This is not a Pokemon podcast, but we covered that. We will be back to you next week if there's any updates on the drama with the Saber Interactive CEO. We will have more things to talk about, more stuff. I don't think we have any topics lined up for next week, but we will be back, and it will be wonderful. In the meantime, I have been Comrade.
I'm Astro.
Expertly done.
And I'm the other guy.
Yes.
Chadgon or something.
Until next time, bye, physical.